All right. Goddamn it, if you ain't ready, you better get there. I want to welcome everybody to episode 2 of Lingo. Everybody who listened to episode 1, I want to thank you for that. Everybody who's a new listener, I want to thank you for that as well. You know what I'm saying? Your presence is a blessing. Got two very important gentlemen here with me this evening. Got a couple of cool cats from Music Impulse here today. You know what I'm saying? Since these are two connoisseurs of hip hop, we finna see just how big of a connoisseur of hip hop these two gentlemen are. Got my homeboy Josh, got my homeboy Tim. You know what I'm talking about? How y'all gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Good.
Blessed, bro. Blessed.
I did want to start off by saying shout out to our other members, of the Uncool Urban Podcast. Shout out to Shaw Diddy, in the building. Shout out to him, and then shout out to our photographer Bree. Shout out to her too. So make sure we show some love to the rest of the Uncool Urban fam.
Yeah, know what I'm saying? The whole Music Impulse family, know what I'm saying? I love what y'all doing over there. Know what I'm saying? Y'all keep putting out quality work, man. I love what y'all doing. Know what I'm saying? Keep forward in the movement.
Appreciate it, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Now, today's topic of discussion is a topic that is near and dear to all three of us.
Yeah.
Today's episode is entitled Live and Die for Hip Hop. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to just get into our love for, you know what I'm saying, and affinity for the art of hip hop. But first and foremost, you know what I'm saying, for those who may not be familiar with y'all's work over at Music Impulse, why don't you go on and just tap in just really, really brief and let them know what y'all working with right now, man.
Well, me and Tim, we 2/3 of the hosts for the Uncool Urban Podcast. The Music Impulse is actually my offshoot podcast that I do with the one-on-one interviews and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we three heads that come together to form Voltron, to form the Megazord. We talk about different things. We talk about hip hop. We talk about what's going on in Dallas. We talk about bigger topics like men versus women, just all sorts of things, Then we got me with the Music Impulse one-on-one interviews. We got me and Shad got the Shad versus Smiles episodes where we talk about a lot of hip-hop artists and like in-deep conversations. We got my man Tim over here with the stoner philosophy and everything that he got going on, and
Thanks. All right, well, you need to check out the Urban Uncool Podcast and my people over there at Music Impulse, man. But we getting ready to get into Live and Die for Hip Hop on Lingo today. So, first question of the afternoon. Either one of you gentlemen can take this question first. What was your earliest memory of hip hop?
I'll let Tim go first.
Oh man. It Takes Two. It Takes Two. That was my first. I'm trying to remember who was it by. I can't remember who was it by. I heard this song in a minute. But I remember being a little baby. I used to dance, and whenever you used to come on, like
Rob Bass, man.
Yeah. Rob Bass. Yes.
He said it in the bar.
Oh man, that was my jam. That's my earliest memory right there.
For me, mine is probably not just hip hop, just music in general. It's just watching the early Michael Jackson videos and stuff like that. I know, like, my first hip hop CD that I ever got was from my stepdad. He gave me the Black Eyed Peas Elephant album. He gave me Jagged Edge, their first album, and he gave me Ludacris's Word of Mouth album. So I would say those like the first hip hop albums I had. So those, I guess, my first real memories of hip hop for me personally.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. I got to remember the age gap between the two of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 28, so I'm younger than both y'all.
Yeah, but I'll be 32 in 9 days.
That's gonna be interesting. So we can give that kind of like that little time gap difference because we all gonna be paying attention to,
Yeah, we all gonna be looking at it from different aspects and different eras. But for me, my personal first memory of hip hop, man, I was 5 years old, bruh. Special ed. I got it made, man.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I've heard of him. I just never heard like no music from him, but I've heard of him.
Dog, you
My
need to
dad
pull
used to
that
play
up.
it all the time.
You need to pull that up, man. Man, I'm telling you, that shit is gonna take you right back to '89, man. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I was one in '89.
Like soon as the beat drop, you gonna be right at '89, man. I'm telling you.
See, I wasn't even a thought in '89.
Yeah.
But man, it was a great year. It was a great year, bro. So man, we all dig '80s hip hop, '90s hip hop, everything. A lot of big things came after the 2000s were ushered in. What would you say was your favorite era of hip hop and why?
Ooh, I would say the 2000s because that was just like high school, college, like that time and that era, with Wayne, Fab, Jewels, Cole, Luda, like all the guys that are kind of like the OGs and the vets that's right now. Like that was me. I just remember all the school parties and kicking it, and that's where I fell in love with hip hop because that's what made me want to start selling CDs. Because if anybody, Akron, Ohio, Garfield High School, I was the man up in my high school when it came to selling CDs. If you need
330.
Yeah, so if you needed a burnt CD, go ahead and holler at Smiles. I got you. And plus, I would probably say I was like kind of the first person when it comes to like mixtapes out of my high school because I would print off every single song for that album, and I tell people like, hey, if you want a mix CD, just go ahead and look at this list. You can pick any song off this list, and I'll make you a mix CD, and I got you tomorrow.
Right.
So I was doing my thing all throughout high school doing that. I got caught twice, but because I'm Mr. Nice Guy, I got away with like, oh, just don't let me catch you doing it again. Don't that's illegal. Let Josh get by. So people are like, oh yeah, Josh does Smiles. He ain't doing nothing.
Oh man, what was so cool about that, you know what I'm saying, is back when I was in college, I had a little mixtape hustle back at the time. But I was doing it with hip hop and R&B tracks.
There you go.
It would be like a collage of both on each and every single mixtape, and the joints was nice. So Tim Dog,
what's up?
What would you say your favorite era of hip hop is, man?
Man, I got two answers for that. The one that I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about is gonna be the early '90s. Back when we had NWA, and this was going on in the West Coast, because I think the culture of voice. You know what I'm saying? And it also it symbolized like a shift into a different way of speaking and what we're allowed to talk about. And we're gonna talk about the real stuff that we experience, the stuff that we kind of don't talk about, we hush about whenever it comes to speaking out in public. So I think it gave a different tone to just what it meant to be in the culture of hip hop. My own personal answer would have to be whatever the underground was doing, because I'm a big fan of unconventional and just people doing different things, and
hey man,
experiment. Yeah.
I mean that. So you mentioned underground artists,
right?
When you now when you mention underground artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the '90s era, who do you think was the greatest solo underground act of the
That's
90s?
a difficult question, man. Of the '90s, I mean, because you got to keep in mind of who was around in the '90s and who was underground. Because Eminem was underground in the '90s too. And for the people that only know him for the work that he did on mainstream, they would be surprised if they go back and listen to his first mixtape. That mixtape was straight fire, and he was putting out stuff that it wasn't being touched, except if you were listening to people like Cannabis, or if you knew who Pharoah Monch was. And then you got Immortal Technique. He was around during the '90s. This is a whole bunch of people that's just putting out different stuff. The reason I like the underground, because it never really feels like a competition for who's the best rapper. It's like, how creative can I be? So that's why I'm like, it's really hard for me to say who was the best. But if I had to say anybody, just because of his longevity, KRS One. I have to say that because he's been putting out the same type of music and the same content, and it goes hard since the 80s, the end of the 80s. Yeah.
And here's what I dig about KRS One, man. Anytime now, he's not your flamboyant, traditional, everyday, run-of-the-mill rapper. But anytime you sit down and you listen to 4.5 minutes to KRS, you're going to walk away with something.
Man, you didn't read half the dictionary. You didn't read the thesaurus. You have an understanding, a deeper meaning of life.
I'm talking about it's a socio-economical lesson in there. You know what I'm saying? Mad history lessons. He bring you up to speed on current events. Your vocabulary is being broadened. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a whole bunch of shit to stimulate the mental palate when you.
I got his hip hop Bible. I got his hip hop Bible.
Man, man, we need to sit down one evening and have some drinks and listen to that, brother, for real.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to definitely check that right on out.
Oh, you got the Bible right there. Hold it in front of you because it's fading out in the camera.
Yeah, you need to put that up. You need to put that up in your situation. Yeah, man. If y'all don't have that hip hop Bible by KRS One, please go get it. So, while we still talking about underground artists, I'm gonna throw a curveball at y'all right quick. Out of all the underground hip hop artists that's out now, we'll say in the past 10 years, who would you say are 3 underground hip hop artists right now that will thrive in the 90s era?
One, I would say Sci-Hi the Prince. I feel like he's still
definitely.
I feel like he's still considered underground. Let's see who else. Considered underground. I'm gonna have to think a couple more others, but Sci-Hi is like the first one. I definitely think of who would definitely make it.
I have to say Earl Sweatshirt.
Oh yeah.
He's not. I mean, he kind of had that mainstream exposure, but he's kind of on that smaller level, and like he's just creative enough, and he talks about things, to that perspective that just makes you sit there and be like, huh? And that I think he would have fit in well with the 90s.
I'm trying to think who else would I. Let's see.
Well, to give Smiles a little bit more additional time.
Yeah,
I got one. I'm gonna just throw out a Dallas local, just so we can have somebody from Dallas in the conversation. There's a dude walking around town by the name of Ricky Blue. If you have not heard him,
shout out to Ricky Blue. Like he just had a son. Shout out to my man Ricky Blue.
Shout out, King. Congratulations, man. You live on, brother.
Oh man, he went on Sway. He been on Sway a couple of times. Yeah, he legit, bro. I'm telling you, y'all need to check him out.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely tap in. You need to give me some of his information too, so I can check out his work and see what he's talking about.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'll shoot you some links.
Oh, that's the best. But yeah, man.
Like some of the guys that I know personally, like my homie from Akron, Eljo Rico. I would say he would probably make it because he's a couple years older than me. He went to my high school. He's like a year or two older than me. It's like so. I know he would make it because he out here still grinding and doing his thing right now. Who else? Somebody else would probably, I think, real talented that probably make it is my man Jay Smith. My dog Jay Smith, because he's kind of around that like Currency, Smoke Dizza type way, but like he's also like lyrical just like them. So I think he would make it because he's always like freestyling over different types of beats, and he's always grinding and constantly dropping projects every year, every like 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's in law school while doing it. So
oh man, there's a cat out in Fort Worth. He go by the name My Nice, and he's pretty legit. He's been on the underground scene for about 10 years. Yeah, bro. He be doing some nice stuff, and he's consistent. And he got a following, bro. But he make music just because he loved doing the stuff, and that just makes his stuff, you know, easy to listen to. It's fun to listen to because he does a lot of covers, and he like gives his perspective on life and stuff over it. He would have been pretty big too.
Man, me personally, when it comes to my three, it's a cat from New Orleans. It's a cat from Houston by way of New Orleans. His name is L.E. Dollar.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Fucking amazing. He has not dropped one track that I have not liked. He is easily one of my favorite people to listen to. I love his work. That I'm talking about some of the most amazing music I ever heard. Larry June out of Sanford.
Yeah. Larry June, definitely.
June, yeah.
Man,
my homies got me hip to him.
Dude, I fucks with Larry June. Larry June makes me want to be a better person. Like, I fuck with Larry June.
Yeah, that's one of my homies, Load. He got me hip to Larry June. He was like, bro, he's like, you know my pictures I'll be posting with my wife up in Target? He's like, that shit was inspired by Larry June. He's like, because the nigga talk about like going shopping, like just up in Target shopping. He was
fucking
like,
with going to Whole Foods and shit.
Yeah.
Like cool shit.
So he was like, bro, he's like, that's why I do that now. He's like, because of Larry June.
and what's so dope about Larry June, man? He's 25.
Yeah, that's when I looked. I was like,
he's a baby. He's 25 years old.
Got that
but the way he raps it, exactly, 100%, man. It's like the dude. It's like he's 10, 15 years ahead, behind where he should be.
Right.
From a numerical standpoint, like he's 25, but raps like a 40-year-old, man. Like, wisdom that he spits on tracks is crazy.
Man, and that's why I love the underground scene. There's a classic mixtape called After School Special. It's by a rapper by the name of A1. He's out in California, Los Angeles. It is classic. It takes all your favorite 90s themes from All That to Golden Girls to Family Matters to Power Rangers to all of it. And he just makes beats out of it, and he goes in just about like his childhood growing up in the 90s. Oh, and he just ain't got that crazy. And I tell you, that's probably like the best 90s dedication that you will ever hear. It's just that mad creative, bro.
And here's what's so cool about underground rap, underground art, man.
Oh, I also just thought about X. Did y'all know who XV is?
I think I had a friend that listens to him.
I don't think so, bro.
Yeah, I like him. Because when Tim was talking about the type of beats and stuff like XV, I used to fucks with some XV. He kind of fell off. He just recently just dropped like an EP or something like recently.
He was like prevalent back in like 2010, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I still focus on him because I heard the new project. I was like, okay, this is cool. I want you to come out with more music, but you need to be more consistent. But I fucks with XV.
And what's so dope about underground art, man? The shit that we grew accustomed to with 90s hip hop is like they still hold true to it today.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they go out of their way to. It's like it could be 2020, but we still finna do 1995 shit.
There you go.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the lowrider craze. You know what I'm saying? They keeping that shit prevalent. You know what I'm saying? True album rollouts. They keeping that shit prevalent. Them 80s and 90s inspired like they whole dress swag and shit, like the whole 80s, 90s D-boy look.
Yep.
Hey, you know who I want to give? Prevalent. You know who I want to give a lot of credit for that in particular? I want to give it to Wu-Tang Clan, because they made, embodying what makes you you and what makes you different, and making it a brand, making it a personality, and using it as a way to connect with people. They made that a cool thing, and they really like showed that just creating something that somebody can be interested in can make you a star, can make you, something different in music, because you're giving out content that only you are able of creating. And I think they deserve a lot of credit, especially back in the 90s, because they were doing their thing. You know, you had Redman at the time too, who was crazy. He's crazy lyrical, and he sets the standard that a lot of people don't know about for the Northeast side when it comes to rap. Period. Especially like growing up in the 90s,
Yep, and
everybody
that's
wanted to be
Eminem's
like
favorite
Redman.
rapper.
Yeah,
Like, always says Redman is my favorite rapper.
Facts.
It's like
It,
the
it
guy
can
that
fit.
everybody considers one of the top 5 is like, yeah, you may think I'm lyrical and I'm nice, but I look up to this guy, Redman, from
You
New
can
Jersey.
fit.
his favorite CD, matter of fact, is Reggie. His first one, the first one he put out. And I think the first CD is special for a reason. I just think the fact that they want it so bad, they put so much into it that they really occupy a space of creativity and just, you know, being
And it
being
was important for them to capture the fucking moment. It's
right.
like I'll
But
never
you might
have
not get
another
it again.
first album again, and I never thought I'd have this, and the opportunity is here. I'm gonna get the best producers I can possibly link up with. I'm gonna write the best shit, and I'm gonna give you 17 tracks of that shit.
Yep.
And this is just me. I think it's certain people, they want to be rappers and they want to be famous, but they don't really like music. And you can tell because when you
Mm-hmm.
get that first CD, the first CD be a hit, but then they put out the other
The
CDs.
sophomore slump. Yeah.
Yeah, sophomore, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just that's hard for me to get behind because I think as a person I should be listening to you because you in a space where you just enjoy being alive and you trying to put me on the tip or a new wave of how I can enjoy my life or how I can better cope with a situation, you know, because you know hip hop is life. It's how you live. It's how you relate, react with everything. Josh said I was being
100%.
long winded, so I'm gonna try to keep my answer short.
It's cool. It's cool.
I'm just poking. Just
No,
having
no, 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 no judgment, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So, here's another hard question. Going back 25 years,
Oof.
from 1995 to 2020,
Okay.
who is your hip hop starting five?
Ooh.
Mm.
Okay, I'm ready for this one. Okay.
I know it hurt.
I was like covering 25 years. It's like that's a wide. Okay, so I got to start off with my favorite guy, my number one. Like I said in the beginning, my stepdad gave me his CD. That was one of the first hip hop CDs I got. My man Ludacris. I got to give my man Ludacris one of those spots.
His come up was amazing.
Also because he's a personal favorite, and I think he's lyrical and he's very wide range. A lot of people hate on him, but he Team Virgo. You know, he get emotional at times, but if you really listen to him, he's lyrical and poetic. My guy Wale Falarin. I gotta give him that.
Okay.
Let's see. It's 25 years. That's a okay. Let's see. What's a new young buck? I think might be nice. The young dude Corday for a young buck. You know, I think he's nice for a young buck. I'm gonna go a little older. Maybe around Hove's era. I'm gonna go with Cormega. I like Cormega. And who else? Who else do I want to add for some West Coast flavor? It had to be a toss up between Cube and Game, so I'm gonna say Cube.
I was about to say if you gave that to the Game, bro, we were gonna have to fight.
Well, because it was just for me personally, like the Game was what made me fall into with West Coast music.
Okay.
And made me want to go back.
But see, here's, and I feel you. I really do. But I really think that you should get pushed down some steps for that whole entire list. Because from 95 to 2020.
We had a whole bunch of people.
From 95 to 2020. Let's see. Black Thought didn't make the list.
That man is crazy.
Didn't make the list. Jay-Z didn't make the list. Nas.
I did say Jay-Z. Did I say Jay-Z? Damn it.
No, absolutely. No, sir.
I'm surprised you didn't say Rick Ross. All right, let me see. For my 5.
Yeah, I thought I said Jay-Z because,
AZ didn't make the list.
I'm going to place Cormega with Jay-Z.
Oh,
Spice One didn't make the list. Scarface didn't make the list.
All right. So for me, I'm gonna have to put LL Cool J. He did the whole talking to females thing. I'm not gonna say he did it first, but he did it the best. I'm gonna have to put Lil Wayne on there.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to keep away from like common answers. For West Coast, somebody that influenced the West Coast and the West Coast theme, I'm gonna have to put E40 on there, cause he's been doing it.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, he was actually getting ready to walk up on Biggie from Biggie trying to downplay his music. E40 don't play about his art.
Yep, I heard about that story.
Yeah, I had to give him mad respect about that. And I'm gonna do it by another reason again. Just from simply them putting on a city and they city starting to thrive behind it, I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna give you a tie answer. I'm gonna give you an old rapper, I'm gonna give you a new rapper, I'm gonna give you Eminem, and I'm gonna give you Big Sean. Reason being, they put that whole rapper versus rapper beef behind, they did it for they city. You know what I'm saying? They open up avenues for young rappers and young entrepreneurs to be able to do something in their city. So for that, I'm gonna have to give it to them. And the last one, like it or not, I'm gonna have to say Kanye West, because with all the antics that he does pull, he has come and he made a statement in music that you can't ignore it and you can't explain it no other way than him being a genius and him understanding what he needs to do to come out and put some good music out and just connect with people. You can't deny that.
Yeah, that's a really, really tough list to argue with. I was never really big on Big Sean.
Oh, like this new album, I love it. This new
Big
album.
Sean got some. Big Sean's always been creative. There's been more than one aspect to his career than just music, and I don't think people recognize that of him, because he's always done like very intricate music videos, and he's kind of big on symbolism and stuff, and so I can fuck with that. And like that's not a taste for most people, but I like to feel like I'm an intellectual person, so I like to seek out people who's gonna make me think. And I can say that he does have some songs that get out there, and it may not be like intellectual topics. It can just be like, "Hey, yo, why am I treating my girl this way?" Like one of
he talked about going to therapy and
the
feeling of I know like one of the joints he mentioned about how like, yo, I'm living out in LA, but I feel bad that I left Detroit, but I left Detroit to make my life better. So I'm like, yo, I fucks with that.
Yeah, and it's just like that's some shit that most people they deal with it, especially when you have to move away from your family, but you don't want to admit to yourself that you feel guilty behind of it because you don't want to pay attention to the thoughts that's going on. And just from him occupying that space, and like I said, working with like younger artists and pushing them in a direction so they can be successful and get the bag on their own, I got to give him respect for that.
Okay, I could definitely follow you on that. Now I don't listen to a whole lot of Big Sean.
Oh yeah.
That's just he's not really a part of my genuine interest as far as hip hop goes at the time.
I would suggest you definitely check out the new album and get back to us.
Now his second album, fucking amazing.
Hall of Fame. That was trash.
I mean, not that one. The one with Blessed on there.
Oh,
the black cover.
Beautiful. No, not Beautiful Doctors. I can't think what it's called.
I can see the album cover, but I can't remember.
I can't think of the name of it either.
I'm about to look it up right now. Dark Sky Paradise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
Way up off the bliss. Yeah.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about. I actually stood up out my seat. That motherfucking album. That was he knocked that out the park. And I think it's 2088 Project with Janae.
Yeah.
Fire.
I want to throw somebody else out there because he's gonna be controversial now, and it's kind of sad. His career's over. But before he shot Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez would have been an honorable mention.
See, I was gonna say that because I was like, I love Tory's because he always used them 90s samples and the old school samples. I wanted to say that too, but I was like, my man's.
What's so cool about it is he came right in the cusp when those when them old school retro R&B beats was coming back into play. You know what I'm saying? He came right into the wave, and it was really working for him. And you got these other artists these other indie R&B artists who was catching the wave as well, who would have eventually came down the pike and started tag teaming with Lanes.
Look at you got Usher jumping on a sample of his song.
Yeah, I was like, T-Pain, Usher, Jagged Edge, Ludacris, Snoop Dogg, all like
the whole Chicks Tape joint. Now it's over.
Yeah, that sounds like.
But I'm not for the waste. I'm not for to waste my time on Tory Lanez. It is what it is. It is what it is. I would much rather discuss more pressing things. So I definitely wish Texas.
You know what? Since I brought him up, I gotta throw this out there. We gotta start talking about some female rappers now, cause there's some dope female rappers out there.
Rhapsody is my favorite.
I have to say Snow the Product. She's filthy with it. Snow the Product.
Oh yeah, I've heard of her. I heard her on Charlamagne's podcast before. I was like, I'll check that out like once or twice.
And she's pretty lyrical too.
I'm talking about Rhapsody is sick with it.
Yes.
I'm talking about some of the most craziest wordplay ever. But since we sitting up here talking about female hip hop artists, that brings me to this question. Hip hop's ladies' big three. Who are they?
Ooh, big three? Okay.
Okay, active or of all time?
I'm talking about big three, all time, period.
Okay, I'm going to go with Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, I would add Rhapsody for a new young buck, and then who else do I really know their music? MC Light. I know more. I was like, I haven't really delved that deep into female rap because most female rap I just never really.
Everybody should have Missy Elliott at number 1 on their list. Everybody. That's just how I feel. Number 2, I have to give it to Lil' Kim because besides all the antics, she came in, she made a statement for female rappers, and she created that avenue and allowed the rappers who are doing what they doing today. They may say they got it from Nicki, they may say they got it from Cardi, but they all get it from Lil' Kim.
Yep, they all get
it of that.
Here's my big.
I was gonna say who my last one. I need one more. I'm gonna have to give it to Queen Latifah.
Okay, Queen.
Because she came in, she had a message, she stood on her message, and she grew her brand. She reached out to other people in other ways. Whenever they come and they throw a 90s song, her song with MC Light.
Ladies Night?
Yes, that's the one they playing. That's who they bringing out on stage.
Mm-hmm.
MC Light, Kim, Minaj. Period.
You said MC Light, Minaj, and who was the third
Kim.
one? Oh, Kim, yeah.
Period.
Okay, so I have to ask you, why you feel Nicki?
because all three of them ladies can spit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about no antics. I'm not talking about no ass shots who you just slept with. I'm talking about bars.
My only problem with Nicki, and I'm a very big. If you are a rapper, the stuff that I'm listening to, you creating. A lot of her stuff was written by Safari. That's the only reason I wouldn't consider Nicki. That's just me.
I was like, I probably would have replaced Meg with Nicki because we've actually seen Meg actually freestyle like in multiple occasions, and we know she actually writes her stuff.
And see, here's the thing: Meg Thee Stallion can go. She's well on her way to the Mount Rushmore section of this latest hip hop conversation. But would you take Luka Doncic from the Mavs and put him in the Hall of Fame right now?
No,
of course not. No.
I rest my motherfucking case.
I was like,
that's how I look at it. It's like she's doing good. Let's just sit back and let her do more.
I got a question for you.
She's gonna eventually get there.
So where do you sit on the fence when it comes between rappers and performers? Because there are a lot of people in hip hop who are performers. And now, if you're gonna come out and be in the category of performers, I think the most prevalent performer right now has to be Drake, because he's able to go out there and captivate so many people and so many different audiences. I can't take that away from Drake, but I couldn't put Drake in the conversation of best rapper simply because he has ghostwriters. So I have to see, like, where do you sit in that conversation? Because to me, there's a such thing as a rapper versus a performer.
Before you go, I was gonna say I've heard that discussion before when it comes to Biggie and Tupac when they discussed the difference. I've heard that Biggie's a better rapper or like a performer because like he's entertaining and all that, but the better lyrically was Tupac. It was just like, you know.
That's so not the case. Tupac was a better performer. He was 5'10". He was 165 pounds, much fitter body. You know what I'm saying? Much healthier body. He was you know what I'm saying, that he could, you know, he just had that energy about him. You got to give the performance quality to Pac. It is what it is.
So when
it comes to lyricism, Biggie Smalls, bro.
Biggie's my personal favorite. So
out of the two.
Just because it's happening right now and it's happening in hip hop, and I believe we need some gatekeepers in place to keep these situations from happening. One, he's on his way to being a pretty big performer, is Tekashi 6ix9ine, because I don't care what he has to say.
Hold it.
We got to talk about it, bro. We got to talk about it.
We got a flag. We got a flag on the play. We got a flag on the damn play. Hold on.
We got to talk about it.
I haven't seen him perform any concerts. I just see the antics. I was like, I've never seen him actually.
That's what I'm saying. You couldn't put him as a rapper, but as a performer, he has a goal for doing what he's doing. And I don't care what you say. I don't support him. I do not. I have to make that clear. But he's getting enough people out here who apparently don't have any sense and putting money into this man's pocket. Like, he shouldn't have a career. If we was back in 90s hip-hop, that man would have probably been shot already. He would have been dead, or he would have been X from the community. But he's still a part of the community, and because he's still a part of it, I feel like we got to address what's going on with that. Like,
I want to see him actually perform before I say anything like that. Let me see him get on stage and actually get out in a crowd of 1,000 people. Because I feel like he'd be too afraid to go out and do it. Like, oh, I talk all this noise in front of a phone, but when it's time to step on that stage and get in front of like 1,000 people, 10,000 people, is he really going to step up to the plate?
But see, here's the thing, and I want to make this clear. We've all seen gangster movies when we were kids growing up.
Right.
We've all heard our share of rap music when we were young and growing up. We've all heard about things that have gone on in real life in the street growing up. And we're all of the belief that in the streets, when you do some shit you ain't got no business doing, and you go to the courthouse and tell on everybody, they gonna air your ass out.
Yep.
Apparently, he snitched on everybody, gave out damn near a century of time, did less than 2 years, and came home to a bag. So, somebody in hip hop or the streets has failed to hold this young man accountable. At some point in time, he is going to be held accountable. If you are the type of person to hand out a century of time and not hold yourself accountable for the shit that you do, will we know your part in it?
See,
ain't nothing hip hop about you, bro. I ain't got no interest in nothing about you. Period.
And this is why I say it needs to be talked about, because that is not what hip hop was founded on. It was founded on quite the opposite of what happened. But this is what is being put out there as this is what hip hop represents. And it's like we're now at a cross point where we have to be honest with ourselves. We have so many performers now in hip hop. Future was afraid to tell his fan base that he wasn't drinking lean anymore.
Yeah.
That's something like we have to step back and we have to really be like, is what's going on right now like really what it is, or is it what it ain't? Like
people need to step out of the fucking closet and raise their hand and say, "This is who I am." Mm-hmm. Whether it's hip hop, whether it's relationships, whether it's life. Stop putting your bullshit under the rug. Be a man, be a woman, be grown, be bold. Stand up and raise your hand and say, "This is what it is." Like the whole thing about Future quitting lean a few years ago and it kind of kept it to himself. Whether he continues lean or not is irrelevant. Future fucking jams.
Nah, it's like this to me.
Period.
I can't say that, because if you get into a space where you stop lean because of health reasons, you have to put that into your music, bro. That's something that you can't just sell lean to your audience and then you come up with some consequences behind what you're doing and you stop doing it personally, but you're going to keep them on it. You're going to keep selling it to you. I can't listen to you because you already compromised because your message is not real. That's not hip hop either. Hip hop is honesty. Hip hop is being a person, sharing a personal experience and relating to people. Now, everybody has their personality, and that personality is not real. They are a human person at the end of the day, but it has to be some type of realness with that song that I'm listening to. If you are a rapper, I should be able to believe that somewhere in your life, the vice that you saying or the topics that you talking about, you really living your life this way. Because that it brings us to allow things that's happening with Tekashi. But that's not hip hop. But the people that are in hip hop, they not being true to the code 100 all the way. They ain't thorough, but we don't check them. We don't check the content that they putting out. So now we open the door for anybody to come in and use rap as a means to just say whatever the hell they want to say.
But see, here's the issue. What's going on with hip hop is everybody's fault. We have now put ourselves in a situation where we have created a cookie cutter machine that is issuing out lying motherfuckers who got them. Every rapper has been arrested. Every rapper rides around with a 40. Every rapper smokes weed now. Every rapper has sold dope. You know what I'm saying? Every rapper has done this. Every rapper has been connected with that. It's getting unbelievable at this point. And on top of that, what's happening is, as they're rolling this bullshit out, people are continuously going to their iPhone and tapping that button and buying it.
That is true, bro. I got to ask both of y'all because I'm curious as to where y'all sit. What did y'all think about the song WAP?
when I heard it, I was like, okay, it's foul, but I was like, whatever. I've heard plenty of other songs before. I was like, plus, especially after hearing other female rappers say like, hey, the guys have done the same thing, so why y'all getting on us for talking about stuff? Especially like Cardi B, she was like, hey, y'all mad at me for this song going viral and stuff, but there's girls like Rhapsody, like Chica, like oh girl, I can't think of her name, but she's from Philly. What's her name? I think it started with like a
Philly
T.
from Philly.
I forget what that chick's name, but whatever. But Cardi B was just saying like, yo, you getting mad at me for this song going viral and going popular. Y'all don't support these girls. She was like, and then when I tried not to rap about these type of lyrics, y'all didn't support that song. She was like, so I'm talking about what I did. But either way, I was just like, hey, this guy's like 3-6 Mafia, Sob on My Knob and all that went viral and were like not viral, but were popular and all that stuff that we supported and we sing about still today. So I was like, it's just another female anthem to me.
And here's where I'm at with it. On one end of the spectrum, you got men who spend their whole entire life from 12 years old to the time they leave this earth trying to get a hold of wet ass pussy.
That's true.
And that action doesn't get punished. But you're gonna punish these two young ladies for making a song about wet ass pussy. I mean, hell, from women being able to give birth to you know what I'm saying, to our sons and daughters, to the fact that wet ass pussy apparently feels good because we keep going after it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with these two beautiful young sisters celebrating wet ass pussy. Do your motherfucking.
I haven't listened to the song since it came out. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times, and that was it. I was like,
I'm not gonna say
it's not for me.
I want to give my short little insight, because we got to remember what hip hop's foundation is. Hip hop is supposed to be family friendly. It's supposed to be for everybody in the family can listen to the song and they can have fun. They can sing the song. I'm not saying it's supposed to be innocent, but it ain't supposed to be any one way for any person. I can 100% agree that that's just a female song. That's a song that they should enjoy. It wasn't talking about nothing detrimental. Wasn't talking about nothing bad. But when kids can hear the song and they don't have a full rationale of what's going on, they don't know their sexual identity yet. They're not at the age where that should be a conversation. My only issue with the song, it was played on the radio. And this is why it's my issue. Like I said, for you to be a rapper, I need you to stand on what you talk about. For her to put the song out there on the radio for everybody, kids to hear, for you to say that you wouldn't allow your daughter to listen to the song, that lets me know, hey, yo, okay, I understand you did this for money. I understand you selling what sells, but you have your morals at the end of the day.
I mean, they got the edited version on the radio, bro. They not on They not on K104. They not on K104.
You can only. Kids are not dumb though. You go to YouTube, you can just WAP. The song is called WAP. They go search it on YouTube. On YouTube, they got the explicit version that kids can go listen to. It's not. You can only change so many words to stop the song from meaning what the song means. If it was on her album and that was the banger joint off her album that everybody was talking about, that means you had to go out there and you had to her in order to hear the song. You had to be a genuine fan. But to put that out there on the radio waves, you sold that for controversy. That's what happened. You're using controversy and topics that are going to draw people to have different point of views and argue about it. That's going to make it relevant. You're making that what sells your music. That's a performance. That's a performing act. That's not true hip hop. Hip hop is good because the content is good. Hip hop can touch on some, controversial topics, but that was the effect of the art.
But see, here's the thing: ain't nothing public school about hip hop, Tim. This ain't 1986 no more. We talking about everything that's going on through all walks of life.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So this isn't the situation where Megan Thee Stallion did anything wrong. This is a situation where the parents need to do a little something right. You know what I'm saying? You have these parents.
I'm a parent. I'm saying I have a problem with that being on the radio. Like, it shouldn't be. We should all have common decency to keep that. What's in our pants? That shouldn't be on the radio at all. If we really want to get down to it, like, that's just what it should be, because the radio is for everybody. Our kids listen to that. You can't tell me that if your child, you knew what we listened to, what our parents used to play when they closed our eyes over the movies. We knew what was going on. We knew when they got in the mood, they started playing certain songs. What was getting ready to happen that night?
Because our parents were gatekeepers for that bullshit, right, until we got to a point where we were older and we were able to mentally process the information that we was receiving. The same thing go on today. Hell, music is going to be put out.
Soon as that song come out, nope,
that's adult-based content. Fuck is you listening to it for anyway?
What type of parents did y'all have? Y'all had those parents that was around y'all 24/7. I ain't had them type of parents. It was up to me whether or not I wanted to listen to this on the radio. And when I was younger, I was all about who was cussing the most, who was talking about the most outrageous thing. You know, that was just me as a person. But who y'all had y'all parents around y'all 24/7 telling y'all what to listen to and what not to listen to? Because I didn't have that.
I mean, my mom. My beautiful mother did her absolute best to kind of keep me on the straight and narrow and not be the young man who uses harsh language or listens to a certain amount of hip hop and rap music all the time. Certain things you just can't stop.
Yes. I wasn't a big cusser. I didn't really start cussing until I got to like college, so my mom probably wasn't really worried. But like my first few CDs that like my mom got were clean edited. I was like, they were edited versions.
I had the black and white version of the Chronic album. I had the black and white version of the Above the Rim soundtrack. I had Murder Was the Case soundtrack. I had the Ride Dirty album. I had Only Built for Cuban Links. I had these things. And you know, and my mama knew I listened to those things, but my mother did a great job of keeping me on the right wave. You know what I'm saying, to make sure that I understood as a young man how to differentiate what I heard on the radio versus what's going on these streets for real. That's just the situation that I was blessed enough to be afforded with.
And that's awesome, and I'm glad that you grew up in that situation, because we need much more of that out into the world. And I know when the time comes, you're going to be able to be that for your children. But I'm saying for the children that's not fortunate to have those type of parents, we should at least be feeling the content. So when they listening to that, it's about something other than sex. Because when you in a developmental age where you a teenager and you can get away, and that's all you hearing about is sex, or it's about money, it's about going to get this, it's about having the nicest this, and this. You don't have enough sense, to see the ins and outs of that stuff. I'm not going to say every kid's like that, because they're not. There's some pretty advanced kids out there. But I'm saying for the majority, that's just a place where we shouldn't even have to tiptoe around any boundaries. We shouldn't even push the limit that far, because we make it into something other than hip hop. Now it's about men versus women. And, oh, well, men, you have this opinion, but y'all music has been like this. And I'm like, well, if it was uncomfortable for y'all, that shouldn't have been something that we should expose y'all to anyway. That behavior can't just be right because it happened. We have to go back and have accountability about it and say that maybe we forgot the message of what hip hop was meant for. It's meant for entertainment all around.
And the key word that you just mentioned was accountability, meaning everybody has to hold themselves to the certain standard, to the certain job that they are tasked with. This artist, it's their job to make sure the motherfuckers is dancing. and making sure that each song that they put out is distributed a million motherfucking times.
I can't be mad at them because
they got it. But you got the mothers and fathers. It's their jobs to be the filter for the information that is out here in this world and make sure that what's out here in this world is properly conveyed to the child and make sure it's conveyed to the child in the accurate fashion. Everybody needs to do their motherfucking job. What we can't do is we can't take one of these and go out here and find the rapper and make sure and say, hey, everything that you put out needs to be the clean version. They're going to say, do I tell you how to raise your kids? Get the fuck out my face. That's what every artist is doing.
That's not what I'm suggesting that we do, but I am saying that we come together as a community and develop a standard to have for the general music that's going to be allowed on the airways for the everyday person. It's no limit who it can reach, like kids, elderly people. Reason being, there's a lot of situations where there isn't control, there isn't a parent there, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, just like all of the violence that's in hip hop nowadays, the violence that was prevalent in the 90s music, that's what sold the music back then. Like the West Coast rappers, the West Coast going to LA, the Bloods versus the Crips. If you listen to 90s hip hop, you thought it was a war zone. You thought you had to be, I can't wear red in a blue neighborhood. I can't wear blue in a red neighborhood. You had to be on this, and that. That's the environment that created, and now we're healing from I'm gonna say suppose because everybody has this type of crime, black on black crime. You know how many gangs affected families? Tons. We don't even need to have that conversation. But I'm saying how it entered the communities, how it entered the minds was through music. Is music responsible for the choices that they make in their life? No, they are not. But I can be conscious enough to say that the music that we put out there for everybody to listen, not the music that you going out there to support and that you pay for, can be of content that's going to be, neutral. It's not going to be pushing you in a political direction. It's not going to be pushing you in a sexual direction. It's not going to be over glamorifying material objects. But that's not what sells and that's not what people buy. And I understand that. But I'm saying if outside agendas are being interjected into hip hop, when things like Tekashi 6ix9ine happen, how can we say that that's not hip hop if we're no longer controlling what hip hop is? Because he's getting put in the conversations with rappers who's really talking about something, who really stands for their communities. But because he's selling controversy, because he's just out here talking mess, this man is getting views, this man is getting money, he has influence. He can keep acting the ass. So the kid that's watching him, the one that's paying attention to him, and he sees that's how you get famous, that's how you get money, that's how you become somebody in life, you do what he does, he's creating more of them. And we are allowing it by not cutting it off.
And do you know what I do to fix that situation? I introduced my son Caleb to Larry June.
There you go.
I introduced him to Currency.
The real guys, turn this bullshit off. This ain't it.
No, I'm saying instead of playing WAP for my daughter, the first song that I put my daughter Brooklyn to sleep to was Rapture by Anita Baker.
There you go. That classic stuff. That stuff that's about some substance. And the reason I want to stress that it's not about parental oversight. It's about just creating a fair and neutral place, is because as a perfect parent as I wish to be, I cannot be present every moment to make sure that my child is surrounded by the best circumstances, or I'm making the best decision for my child, because I am human too. And I have to be able to be comfortable with that. I'm just saying that we should keep all of the stuff that's causing this controversy, all of this negative stuff that stops us from moving forward as a people. Because hip hop was a movement at first for the self-expression of black people, because we didn't have an avenue. We just got rock and roll taken from us. We started getting kicked out of rock and roll. we wasn't making no money. Now we going through Jim Crow laws, and we going through the crack era. They putting drugs into our community. Damn, this is fucked up. I need some way to talk about it. I need some way to vent. That's where these 90 era, this is where we started getting that music. That was that transformational period about speaking out about our problems, using our problems to find future solutions. That's what it was for. And I'm saying that the era that we move into now, we got so many people in the game that's so high they ain't got 2 cents. They don't know what they talking about. They just talking. They come out here and say the most controversial thing, and people talk about the controversy, and they miss President 45 getting in office.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we can all agree that
I just want. I ain't mean to take it this far, but I get passionate when it comes to this.
Oh no, I can dig it. I definitely respect it. Oh, the passion is definitely welcome, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because at the end of the day, hip hop is definitely not, as far as where it is now, it's definitely not where it was when we all started. And we're all fathers of sons and daughters. Josh, you ain't got no babies yet.
Nope.
But at the end of the day, hip hop is going to evolve and change and adapt. But one thing that will always be a constant is that mothers and fathers need to be the best gatekeepers that they can be for their children. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be things out here in the world that are going to be crazy, that it's going to be very difficult for our seeds to mentally process. That's where we come in, right? And we make sure that the information that they're receiving, that they can come to us for a proper analysis so that they can walk away from that information and they can look at it correctly. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it ain't hip hop's job to raise our kids, but it is our job to make sure that they can be exposed to hip hop, but be exposed to it as safely as they possibly can be exposed to. And hopefully at some point in time, someday, everybody can realize their responsibility to hip hop and do everything they can to push it forward in a much healthier fashion.
I love that sentiment, man. I'm a realist. I know the ignorance is gonna sell. I just like talking about, hip hop as it's just this perfect being, but in reality, that's what makes it perfect. It's an avenue of expression, and at the end of the day, people gonna express themselves how they seem to express themselves. I was just playing, devil's advocate and just having a conversation going.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can definitely respect it. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, whether it's Tim Dog, whether it's Josh, whether it's Mike, at the end of the day, as we were once young men who loved the music, to being grown men who now understand the responsibility of creating content and exposing it to the world for people to receive, we all want the best for hip hop at the end of the day.
Yep.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely.
So I hope that we get more dope underground artists. I hope that artists like Drake and Megan and Cardi, the Migos, Hove, Zero, Larry June, LES, Saigon, Fab. I want the best for all of these rappers out here, man. Currency, everybody over at Jet Life.
Yeah.
I want everybody.
There is a underground artist in Atlanta. Funny story. My friend was he came in on the airport, and old dude was handing out his mixtapes at the airport. He gave him one, and my friend told me he wanted to go listen to it, so he gave it to me. Old dude's name is Ransom Racina. He is cold. Ransom, like Ransom, that Drake song, and then Racina, Razina. He is cold. He has a message, but he's able to deliver it with that mainstream flow. He's very dope, and he does his thing out in Atlanta. So I got to shout him out too.
Yeah.
Shout out, King. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna check you out as soon as I get these motherfuckers off my podcast this evening. So yeah, man, I had so much fun chopping it up with y'all this afternoon, man. I would definitely love to do this again. Hopefully sooner rather than later. You know what I'm saying? So this definitely has a part 2 vibe. So why don't you go and tell everybody where to find y'all at, man?
Well, since Shad ain't here because he usually do all that, so you can follow the podcast at Uncool Urban Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow my podcast at Music Impulse, MUSICMPULSE on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Facebook at Music Impulse, Uncool Urban Podcast. You can follow me at JW Smiles. You can follow Shad at No Shoe Plug and Shad Miller 13. You can follow Bree at B_your_focus photography. Tim, he's at Yogi D Stoner. You know, he really don't be on the Twitter and Instagram streets.
You would waste your time following me because I don't ever update my story on Instagram for nothing.
Yeah. So
holler at me if you want to smoke a blunt in person. That's what I'm good at.
So, but yeah, you know, you can follow us on all those platforms. We out here, you know, we're just trying to do our thing and do big things out here in these Dallas streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. That's a bet. You know what I'm saying? Well, Josh, see, y'all my brothers. For y'all to take this time to hang out with me this afternoon and record this joint, I love y'all, brothers. I appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Man, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Episode 1 was fire, bro. I listened to that with you and Brian, you and Mo. That was a cool episode. I love what you're doing, and I encourage you to keep going.
Yeah. Shout out to B-Mo and B-Mo and Mo Sports Talk and all that, you know.
Yes, shout out, homeboy. Yeah. One more thing, B-Mo. How's your Lakers? But yeah,
those are my Lakers too, because I'm Team LeBron.
Oh, sad.
I mean, it's only game 2 tonight, so you know, we'll see what happens.
And I'm ready to see if LeBron gonna put 40 on their ass this evening, and they don't even know it. That's the crazy part.
Man,
but So we gonna I'm need y'all to stand by. I'm gonna holler at y'all boys on the sidelines for just a moment. But episode 2 is in the books. Go to Spotify to check this thing on out. That's Josh. That's Tim. This Mike. This Lingo. And like that, we out.